Hey gang, time for another unboxing video. We're going to take a look and see what is inside this box of comic books. I have literally no idea. It could be just about anything. So stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. And as you can see here from this photo, this is a box of comic books. I have no idea what is in here. Full disclosure, these are not my books. I am grading these books for work. And if you've ever seen any of the videos on the Sell My Comic Books YouTube channel, you have seen the books that come into the company that I work for as they come into our warehouse in Freeport, Maine, and those collections are unboxed and sorted into different sales streams. And the ones that go on eBay for sale as raw singles, raw meaning they are not slabbed by CGC or some other grading company, those end up here on my desk where I do the grading. And so if you ever buy a comic book on eBay from the seller.com comics and you don't like the grade you got, then I'm the person that you're mad at. Now, as you see in the photo here, this box is not completely full, so this video shouldn't take too long. But as I've told you before, I really groove on getting into these boxes because I generally have no idea what's going to be in one of these. So it really kind of awakens my inner 12-year-old, that thrill of discovery from going to the newsstand and just never knowing what you're going to find. So we will be going through here and just having some fun looking at some books, and we'll talk a little about each one. And then later on, you may see some of these books pop up on a grading video. I also do grading videos where I walk through my grading process. So well, here's a book. Pacific Comics, Pat Broderick. This would have been probably 1982 or so. Sunrunners. Now I've got a light here, so when one of these is in a bag, you might get a little reflection. I'll try my best to help you out there. Oh, and I guess let me pause here just to do the beg. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. If it moves you, it would help this channel kind of grow a little bit. And you know what? Because I need the algorithm to sort of recognize that I exist, even if you hate this video, give me a thumbs down. That's okay too. I think any interaction will help. So, okay, Sunrunners #1. That's a Pat Broderick book. I'm not sure why this is in the singles box, because I wouldn't expect this to sell for maybe $3 or $4. And the books that we sell as singles, like, okay, this Forever People #3, which, just eyeballing it quickly seems to be in decent condition. Well, maybe not in decent condition. I see some stuff there that's going to be a problem. But the singles, we like to be books that are going to sell between $10 and $100, right? Because if they sell below a certain amount, we can actually lose money, because of the labor cost involved in the sorting, the grading, the listing, the shipping, not to mention the shipping materials. So, when you win a lot from us for 99 cents, congratulations, you cost us money. Even $3 or $4, So this Sunrunners #1, I don't think there's a lot of demand for it. There are some Pacific Comics completists out there. And I'll be honest with you, I might be bidding against you for this book if it goes up as a single. But I think that's probably something I'm going to pull out of the singles box and put it in a lot. I think that would do better for us, combined with a few other things, either some Pat Broderick books or some other Pacific books, as a lot. Something that would be more likely to sell for $10, because that's probably at guide a $4 or $5 book. And so on eBay, that's almost certainly going to sell for like 99 cents. During the 5 days that auction is live, there's probably only going to be one person that's going to come along and want that book, other than me. And I'll be trying to lowball it for 99 cents, and somebody will outbid me, so it'll go for $1.25. Forever People #3. Well, that's a good single. That will sell before, between 10 and 100. And generally, if there's something that we think is going to go for more than 100, in most cases, if it's decent grade, we would send that to CGC, have it professionally graded, and then it doesn't go to eBay. It gets auctioned off at a site called comiclink.com. New Gods number 9, probably the first appearance of the Bug. I'm not sure. And a little bit of Jack Kirby goodness in there. I didn't like Jack Kirby as a kid in the 70s. I liked him more when I discovered his 60s stuff. His 40s stuff is actually kind of crude as well, as this Manhunter reprint attests. But there it is, New Gods number 2, and that one's in pretty decent shape, so that's good. New Gods 6, but you tell me, did you read the New Gods books when they came out originally? Did you like them? Have you read them since? Do you know anything about the New Gods other than the legend? Ooh, well, that's too bad. But even with that page detached, that'll still probably do well enough to sell as a single, because it certainly presents nicely on the cover. But did you come into New Gods late? Do you know anything about them other than the legend that, it's Jack Kirby's masterpiece? I've read the New Gods, and I don't think it's that great. And I think every iteration of it since Kirby has been less great. Fire Hair, there's a showcase book for you. There's some Joe Kubert. That's something I would like. All-Star Western number 3, El Diablo and Outlaw. Oh, here's a book. This brings back some nostalgia for me. Firestorm the Nuclear Man number 1. I bought that off the stands as a kid. 1977. I was probably 9 years old when I bought that. Love the Firestorm run. You talk about the whole COVID shutdown and what that's done to the comic book industry, but nothing will ever be as devastating to me personally as was the DC implosion. There's an issue of Green Lantern 33, Dr. Light. Ooh, another Firestorm. And that one is the first appearance of Killer Frost. And this one hasn't gone up in value as much as I would think, just because, Killer Frost is such an integral part of the Flash show on CW. I would think that would be worth a lot more. Maybe it's because the character's not as close to the comic book version. I don't know. Fury of Firestorm. And you know what? This one is not in great condition. It's probably like a 7, but it's Pat Broderick. I think I will pair that with that Sunrunners book. So I'm going to pull that Fury of Firestorm out, because in the condition it's in, it's probably only going to do $3 or $4. Might get lucky and it goes up to 5 or 6. But I think I'm going to pair that with that other Pat Broderick book. That'll do better. Dingbats. Oh, I loved the Dingbats book as a kid. This is, I'm not exaggerating to you. Now, I said before I didn't like Kirby in the 70s. This is kind of the one exception. I loved this Dingbats book. No exaggeration. I think the Dingbats of Danger Street, this issue of first issue special, number 6, may be the single most perfect comic book ever published. Yes, look, it's so good. Look how happy he is just to be in the same book with the Dingbats. I mean, he's ecstatic. He's thrilled. He's like, here I am, side by side with the greatest comic book team of all time. If whoever at AT&T is in charge of whoever at Warner, who is in charge of whoever at DC, is in charge of whoever gets to choose who hires the next great writer, and that person picks me and says, okay, Duke, we're gonna hire you to do a couple, 2, 3 books here for DC. What do you want? Well, one's going to be the Legion of Superheroes, obviously, but the other one, I want to do a Dingbats book. And I don't think you could get away with calling it the Dingbats of Danger Street today. I would probably, I would change it to the title to maybe the Danger Patrol, and they'd be like a neighborhood watch group. Still kind of the same thing as far as as, you know, the distrust of adults, but maybe inspired by superhero comic books, maybe inspired by the owner of the local comic book store where they hang out, who might be a very Major Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson type of character. You know, they form a neighborhood watch group. That would be my springboard. And you probably have to change some of these characters, like, you know, non-fat. Well, he's supposed to be black, so we would actually make him black. I'd probably call him low-cal. Bananas, still be Asian Crunch. Probably I would make Good Looks here, change his name to Runway, you know, like a runway model, and probably make him Hispanic. So you'd have a white, an Asian, a black, and a Hispanic. It's a mixed neighborhood, Danger Street. All right, Dr. Fate got a one-shot deal in first issue special. I have paired this book a lot with some of the later Dr. Fate series. There you go. I had trouble finding an actual art page, but that is some decent and fun artwork by, is it Marshall Rogers? Who is that? Martin Pascoe writer. Marty just passed away. Oh no, this is Walt Simonson, for God's sakes. What do you think of that? Some early Walt Simonson. So that's a book you want. Doom Patrol. I haven't seen the Doom Patrol really taking off as you might expect because of the TV show. I don't know where you are. If you buy and sell comic books, have you seen any big change in Doom Patrol prices driven by the TV show? I would think most of that would be reflected in the Grant Morrison run, and you know, because you have all of that in trade paperbacks, you know, that probably sells more than the original issues. And here I am telling you that this video isn't going to be that long, and I'm gabbing about every single book. I just love comics. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I don't even care if I have any viewers. I'm just having fun. Confessions of the Lovelorn. ACG, or American Comics, is the person who put it in this bag, this freezer bag that they cut the top off of. You see all kinds of weird things in collections that come in, but that looks in kind of decent shape. You know, it's got some problems here on the edge, but is that a 10-cent book? Or 12-center? Yeah, no, that's a 10-cent book. So that's an oldie. That'll do probably pretty well. Badger, I'm not sure this should really be a single. I don't know how much, even though it's the Capital Comics run, I don't know how well that will do. Red Circle, Black Hood #1. Alex Toth, love Alex Toth. You know, by rights, that should sell really well. It probably won't. I may pull that out and pair it with some other Red Circle books if I find them. I don't know about you, but I'm a Red Circle completist. I'm trying to complete my run of all of those Red Circle books from the 80s. This book would have come out probably about, well, Alex drew it in 1983. So, yeah. There's a 100-page here of Detective Comics. A little beat up, but that'll still do well. All of those giant 100-pagers do well. Let's see what we have here in this next batch of books. I think we're going to get a run of Green Lantern here. Let's see. Green Lantern 47. Green Lantern 49. These are go-go checks. I do love me some go-go checks. It's kind of a weird drawing of Green Lantern. Is that Gil Kane? It looks like Gil Kane in a hurry. that looks like, you know, he did an original marker sketch to kind of lay, it is Gil Kane, marker sketch to lay it out, and then when they was like, hey, you're late on deadline, he's like, okay, here you go. Green Lantern really wasn't that big a thing in this time period, and I think possibly that's because they didn't really know what to do with his civilian character. A jet pilot just really didn't speak to people, and I know they sent him through several different civilian identities, civilian jobs, and I don't think anybody really got that, you know, being Green Lantern is his job. You know, he doesn't really need a secret identity. I mean, basically, if you pair Green Lantern with any alien, like any rookie in the Green Lantern Corps, you've basically got Adam 12 in space. You know, the whole Green Lantern Corps is basically Hill Street Blues in space. They're space cops, you know. So, you know, you don't need a civilian identity for Hal Jordan or whoever is Green Lantern. That is their job. You know, there is no secret ID day job. But, yeah, you know, Gil Kane is a good artist. I don't think this issue is Gil Kane. But Green Lantern just was not a top seller for DC for a long time. Jason's Quest. Who is she? Where is she? A lot of different she's there. I don't think that's the... Oh, is he looking for the one? So these are all the ones he's going through? Has he got a golden glass slipper on that bike somewhere? I don't think I really know. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I just... I'm looking right at it this whole time, but I just kind of read it. You know, a boy, his bike, his search. A boy and his bike. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Romance. Okay. Trag. I think this is number 1. It is. Trag and the Sky Gods, number 1. So this is basically cavemen versus space aliens. Kind of like, what was that, Cowboys versus Aliens comic and movie? And of course, as with any good caveman book, the female caveman is smoking hot. What was the movie there with Ringo Starr's wife, Barbara Bach? 10,000 BC maybe? It's like, you're looking pretty good for a cave girl. Brothers of the Spear. Is that number 1? It is. Brothers of the Spear, number 1. Happy Days. What do you think about that? A Happy Days comic book. Which issue number is this? Number 1. Holy crap. From 1979. Now let's see the artwork in here. Who did the artwork? I'll have to look up and see who did the artwork. It's a little cartoony. Richie doesn't look very much like Richie, does he? Fonz kind of looks like Fonz a little bit. Howard kind of sort of doesn't really look like Howard. Marion checking out Fonzie's ass. Oh, Arthur. I want this book. You can't have it. You cannot have that. I'm not even going to put that. I'm not going to grade it. I'm not going to put it up. That's my book now. No, it'll go up. But I do want it. And this is number 3. Mail Fraud, M-A-L-E, get it? Haha. I don't think this comic lasted very long. Probably 6 or 7 issues. I'll have to look that up as well. Captain Carrot and his amazing Zoo Crew. This I think I should pair with some other stuff as a lot because you got to bend there. I don't think this would do well, even a 9.4, 9.0. And this is probably a 7. I mean, not doing a full grade, just eyeballing it real quick. Ooh, and the back cover is kind of browning up a little bit, and it looks like it had some stuff sitting on it, so some areas got more sun than others. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what that is? That right there, that looks like the handle of a comic book box. Like that book was sitting in a comic book box, facing out, and this is where the handle was. And so it got faded there. Why it got faded down here as well, I don't know. But I bet you anything that's what that's from. Somebody's comic book box was in the light. Huh. Yeah, I think I should probably pull that out and put it as a lot with something else because I'm not sure it would do great even as a single. Centurions. Did you buy any of those Centurions toys as a kid? Because if you did, that might be for you. But that is another thing that I'm not sure is going to do all that well. Who did the art here? Don Heck. So, like I said, these videos take longer than I think they're going to because I can't help myself. I just want to talk about all of these comics because I love comics so much. Ooh, 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 ooh. That'll do well. That is not DC Comics Presents 47, but it is Masters of the Universe number 1. I bet that'll do okay. Oops. These are upside down. They're all upside down. Do not adjust your set. All right, Atlas comic books are starting to get hot, but in higher grade, and that's pretty low grade. Protector number 4, or Phoenix number 4 is the actual title. A lot of these Atlas books, like their last issue, which is usually number 3 or 4, they change titles, you know, trying to find that sales magic. I don't know what really killed Atlas Comics. I think it was just poor distribution. But this book is kind of low grade. I think it should go into a lot, as should probably this Cougar number 2. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that as a single. Sorry, whoever put it in the single box. Dagar. Dagar? How do you say it? That's number 9. Condor Man, an adaptation of the movie. Who is that? Is that, what's his face from the Karate Kid movies? Cress? The hell's his name? What's the bad guy's name? I'll have to look that up, see who that is. That's a funky car. That's some speed buggy stuff going on there. Huh. Here's another Dagger. Ooh, these are Whitmans. Whitmans, when I was younger, we tended to look down on Whitmans as kind of bastard stepchilds. But now they tend to be more valuable. And that's, I think, just because of low distribution. I mean, a 60 center, that would have been mid-80s. There are definite Whitman collectors out there, especially of the Disney books and the cartoon character books. You know, the Looney Tunes, the Warner Brothers. Ooh, Condor Man number 2. That should be a lot. These two, I bet you. I'll look them up, and if they go for a ton, I might still do them as singles. But I think Condor Man 1 and 2 would make a nice lot. Gold Key Spotlight on Dagar. That one's in rough shape. That one should not be a single, I don't think. Not a 30-cent book is going to be mid-70s. 77. Pulling that one out. Hope my boss isn't watching this video. It's gonna be... Damn it, I put that in the singles box for a reason. Okay. Challengers. Challengers doesn't do well at all. They really don't. Unless it's like the first 25 or 30 issues. Challengers just doesn't seem to sell that well. I will still do that book as a single, but I bet you bid on that, I bet you're going to get that for $5 or $6. We'll see. I'd like to see it do better. Now this, on the other hand, a 10-cent Mystery in Space, Adam Strange, and that's in pretty nice shape. So that's, what year is that? 1960. That's number 63. Here's 53. Holy crap. So what's that, 59 maybe? Look at that. 1959. Wow. That'll do well, I bet you. I bet you that does well online. On the old eBay there. Here's number 62. Unfortunately, I've got a pretty big water stain right there. 77. 78. I really liked Murphy Anderson, his inking. And this is 95. Whoops. And we've got another Green Lantern. I think a fairly early one, number 22. Look at that. That will do well. We've had quite a assortment, quite a variety in this box, haven't we? Oh my God! Speaking of assortment, here's I am also trying to complete my Star Comics run. I mean, these companies that kind of came and went and have kind of a finite supply, it's fun to try and complete those collections. And so I'll have to look up, but I bet you I don't have Planet Terry number 1. Ooh, Royal Roy, a Prince of a Boy, number 1. I believe that is the character that got the Star Comics line sued by Harvey Comics because it infringed on Richie Rich. This is a great line, or a great run, Batman Detective Comics, the Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers run. You could be in the Superman movie. Jerry Lewis, and a photo cover at that, number 74. What year is this? 1963. What do you think of Jerry Lewis? Huh. She doesn't really look like she's going to kiss him. She looks kind of like a vampire. She looks like she's going to suck his blood. Speaking of blood sucking, here's some early 70s House of Secrets, number 112, number 116, number 100, 117. These are all good books for Halloween. House of Secrets number 60. Mark Merlin, who never quite took off. 1963 here. What was that? The Tattooed Man? The Terrible Prophecies of the Tattooed Man. I wonder if this was before or after the Tattoo Man villain in Green Lantern. Metal Men number 5. Metal Men 19. Metal Men doesn't sell that great as a back issue. These might do better because they're in pretty decent grade, but we'll have to see. Space Adventures, Captain Atom. What issue number is this? You can't tell with a Charlton book. You got to look inside. And the way the Charltons were printed, I mean, look how off the pages are. Can you see that? Pages aren't even and they're all ragged. This is number 40, 1961. But that is some nice early Ditko art. This might actually 61. That's before Spider-Man, even, isn't it? Huh. I bet you that book does well. I bet you that's a $40, $50 book. And here's number 38. Huh. Yeah, I bet you that book does well when I grade it and we sell it. And I think these are all in bags. I bet you this is going to be a run of Spider-Man. What do we got here? 103, and these are kind of, oh, there's 2 to a bag here. 103, 104, and they're, I hate these kind of bags because they all stick together. And a lot of times getting into these bags, they'll be stuck, especially when they're taped and they're impossible to get into without doing additional damage to the book. So what I'll end up doing is I'll like do that, get it to one side, and I'll take scissors, cut up one side, and then, you know, pull it out that way, rather than trying to screw around with the flap and the stuff that's all stuck together. 105, 106. A lot of times these will be like just getting them apart, and you can even hear a little bit. You hear that? It's not that bad, but sometimes they'll be so stuck together that just trying to peel it off of there, you can't help but bend that spine a little bit. 107, 108. These are all early 70s. 109 with Doctor Strange. 110. 111, a little Gibbon action. That's a nice cover. 112. 114, Hammerhead. Is that the first Hammerhead? I don't actually know. I'd have to look it up. 113. Oh, look at this. Action Comics 583. So kind of the swan song for the original pre-crisis Superman. And unfortunately, I think this is, unfortunately for them, the death of Crypto, the death of, I think, Lena Lang dies and Jimmy Olsen dies. Everybody dies. Well, that's Alan Moore for you. Mighty Crusaders, I mentioned trying to fill in my my Red Circle 80s era run. I think number 8 is the only one I need personally from that. X-Men 221, that is first Mr. Sinister, I think. Might help if I had these on camera a little better. Ewoks number 1. I bet you that does decently. Strawberry Shortcake number 1. I will do all of these as a single. I probably should pair them as a lot. I don't know how well they do. I don't know how many Star Collectors there are out there. But they're number 1s, so I'll try it. Popples. I don't actually remember that one. This one's a little rough though. This one might need to go in a lot. You can see that corner up there. All right, this is the last of this box. This video took a little longer than I thought it would be. Oh, look at that. Inhumans and Black Widow in Amazing Adventures 5 and 6. If my memory serves, this run of Black Widow has some pretty sumptuous, sensual Gene Colan art. 7 and 8. There is 10. Weird looking Magneto there. 9. A little more on model. 12, I think that's the second Beast transformation. He's still gray. They haven't made him blue yet. 13. 14. 15. See, now we've kind of made him blue. Kind of the same thing with Hulk. The gray just doesn't really show up or play that well, so they made him blue. Although, like, in reality, and it's funny, the comic book, I mean, the movies want to make everybody blue. But in reality, you know, the Beast probably would be more gray in color than blue. The blue is just kind of something you have to do for comics. Just like, you know, people with dark hair, they used to color them with blue highlights. Spidey 93 and 94. 95, 96, there is the start of the famous No Comics Code stamp drug story. 97 is part 2 of that. There's another book in there that's probably 98. Here is 99. And the stamp is back. And 102. Oh, 102 is second Morbius. Okay, that's it. That box is empty. That is everything. I hope you had fun. I had fun. And so come back for another video when we'll start grading some of these books. If there's anything in particular in here that you would like to see me grade, to go through that process, please do leave a comment below. But otherwise, until the next video, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.